Hey boys and girls. This week we're going to be studying something called weather. Uh, and I understand that most of you know what weather is. Some of you have already observed through prior experience weather forecasts done by meteorologists on TV. Your parents have smartphones where you've been able to pull up the weather on the phone. All these tools, the meteorologists, the smartphones, weather on the computer, uh, weather via the little radio boxes that will chirp when there's bad weather in the area. All of these are tools used to measure weather, which is part of the definition of it. Weather is described as atmospheric conditions, atmospheric meaning everything that occurs in the air, that we can observe, meaning we can see, experience, meaning we can use our five senses to touch it or feel it, measure, and predict. So using your journal this week, you're going to start off with your topic. At the very top of your page, I want you to write weather. At the very top of your journal page. And I'm sorry, this is the next available page in your journal. Now, when we talk about weather, weather is something that changes daily. Not only daily, hour to hour, minute to minute. And again, weather's recorded by individuals or predicted by individuals who are called meteorologists. Now, the first topic that we're going to touch on is air pressure. Air pressure is measured by using a tool called a barometer. So I'm sorry, up here, because I forgot to do it and I rushed ahead and I threw in a barometer. I need you to write air pressure. I hope you're doing it a lot neater than what Mr. Collette's doing right now. First of all, when we start this unit on weather, we're going to be using this. Now, this is called a TEK. It's a TEK, T-E-K-S. It stands for Texas Assessment of Knowledge and Skills. It's what we're going to be learning. We're going to be learning this. We're going to learn how to measure and record changes in the weather and making predictions using weather maps, weather symbols, and a map key. And we'll be doing that all week. But this is what you'll see on your teacher's boards. This is also what so generally you'll see this for math, you'll see it for English, but that's what these are. This is a guide point for you. It's to let you know exactly what you need to be focusing on, what you need to be learning. Now, a meteorologist, when we're studying air pressure, the first thing we're going to look at, they're going to use a machine called a barometer to measure this air pressure. Now, air pressure is the weight of air pushing down on us, or on any object for that matter. And it just doesn't push down from the top. Pushes in from all the sides. Depending on how the object is suspended, it could be pushing from the bottom, but it pushes from all sides. Things that affect air pressure, well, one is water vapor. Let me put a little dot right here. Water vapor, the amount of water in the air. Number two, temperature, the amount of heat added to the air. And finally, altitude, how high we are in the air. I'm sorry, my handwriting's terrible. Hopefully it'll get better by the time the week gets going. So we have these three conditions. As these three conditions are met, if the air pressure rises, meaning we have if we have more air pressure pushing down on us, that means the weather's getting really, really nice. Clear skies, lots and lots of sunshine. If the air pressure is lowering, we have less pressure on us. Generally, we can predict that unsettled weather is coming. The weather, it's going to get cloudy. We can expect more rain. So that's one tool. A barometer is a great tool to use for predicting what's happening to the weather. Today, we're going to make one in the class. Now, this is where your teacher gets to jump in. Let me move my sign over. Let me move my experiment tray even closer. And this is my barometer. It's a square container with water in it. Inside this jar is water. Now, before your teacher freaks out, let me show you how we're going to make this. First of all, you'll need a jar. I supplied it. You'll need a jar just like this. You'll need to take your container, and you have one that looks like this, turn it up. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get in front of the camera. Turn it upside down so the open end, this end, is facing down. Tell your teacher, put it to the top just like this. Take this hand, push down, then flip it. A little water's going to leak out. No big deal. You carefully sit it down flat. You then take more water and pour this around the jar. Not too high, only halfway, please. Oh, I'm sorry if I didn't tell you. You want it going about halfway up. Your jar's already full of water. You filled it halfway. When you filled this one up, you need to make sure, here, let me help you a little bit. Let's look down. When you fill this container up, you only want your water to be about halfway between the distance of the jar and the water line inside the jar. So now I've wound up with something that looks a lot like this. You'll sit this down. Now, boys and girls, this is air pressure. What's going to happen is that we're using this. I'm sorry. Hold on one second. Okay. Hi, I'm back. What you're going to do is you're going to take a ruler. We're going to measure in centimeters. This is science. We don't use standard units of measure. We use the metric system. So if that's the case, what you're going to do is you're going to use a centimeter ruler. Mine happens to start at 1. It doesn't necessarily have to, because in my class, I love using broken rulers. It could start at any number. As long as you understand that wherever you start is your beginning point, you can use a ruler to measure anything. Wherever it starts, that's how you're measuring. For instance, you're going to take this, and your beginning point is wherever, when it goes down to the bottom, you're measuring to the water line. And in this case, it is approximately, because I'm going to round it, it's a little over 6, but it's not past the halfway point of my ruler. As you can see, it's wet. So, I said 6. Let me look at that one more time, because I think what happened, nope, it is right, because it's a water point. My water line, now remember, this is the water in the jar. That's not, in the container. That's not in the jar. My actual measurement came right to here, right about where my fingernail is. It's not past this halfway point right here. So right to here. So I'm not past the halfway point. That means I'm rounding down. I'll round down to 6. I could count it as millimeters, because you have centimeters, these little bitty lines in between here. Right in between there. Wow. Let me zoom way in. Ooh, that's really foggy. Let me back up a little bit. These little bitty lines are millimeters. So, and every centimeter is 10 millimeters. So technically I could go 6 times 10 is 60. 61, 62, 63. My container started at 63 millimeters of water. Okay? If it's 63 millimeters of water, my teacher, your teacher, could very well go and do this. On the container, write 63 mm. 63 millimeters. So now, yeah, right there, you see it, 63 millimeters. And that's your beginning point. Look outside. Is it nice outside? Very few clouds? There's a good chance that right now you're sitting at what you would consider high pressure. Your next point is it's either going to get a little touch higher or it might drop down a little bit and start showing you low pressure. And I know when we get back to school, it should be high pressure, and then, I mean, yeah, we have a cold front coming through. It's going to drop the temperature. No snow, sorry. And we're going to probably look at a little bit of low pressure coming in after it. So you may see it may start off high and then drop low. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. So when you do your temperature, it'd be really kind of neat to be able to record under that day. And this is what I mean by temperature and recording it. On your journal, you're going to start this. Turn to the next available page. At the top of the page, you're going to write temperature data. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get this lined up perfectly. It's going to say temperature data right here. And if you teachers, if you want to pause this, you certainly can, because what they're going at the very top of your page, did I use all my notebook paper? No. It looks like I just used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You can count down 13 lines. Draw a line here. January 6th, January 7th, January 8th, January 9th, January 10th. On the sides, since we're measuring in Celsius, -20, -10, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. When it's about 95 degrees outside, Fahrenheit, you're looking at about, oh, I'm trying to remember, when I was in I went to Canada on a dinosaur dig, and there was weird that I had to mess with the temperature in Celsius and the combination of each. We should never get above this, because if I remember correctly, well, you know, I'm going to have to research that a little bit. We shouldn't get up into here. Well, we won't this winter. Water freezes at 0, and that's 32 degrees, and we've already seen temperatures that were lower, in the 20s, in the teens. So could we have high temperatures down here then, you know, while we're doing this assignment? Probably not, but we could definitely see temperatures just hovering right around in this area, though. Record this. I want temperatures, and in parentheses, I want degrees Celsius. Down at the bottom, I want date with month/day. 1 meaning the month, the 6 meaning this is when we're starting it, Monday. All right, guys. If you have any questions, teachers, please give me a shout. I may not have covered everything completely. I'm hoping I do. And if I don't, what I am trying to cover is, this will go on throughout the week. Boys and girls, weather is fun. And it's incredible how it absolutely affects our lives and affects your parents' livelihoods, their jobs. It affects people who work outside, farmers. It's amazing how many industries use the weather. So I plan on having fun with this, because this is my absolute favorite topic. Thank you for everything, boys and girls. Make sure you do your best work, and your graphs should be absolutely pristine. I want them beautiful. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon.